Okay. Oh, no, thanks.
Yeah.
Outside, there's just one spot.
I still tried some things Thursday I called and they noticed some unusual activity.
I asked Chief earlier, is this new paving hitting the police, because I noticed everybody's, this is no problem.
Yeah, they fly.
It's really nice, but, you know.
It's so smooth and quiet.
I even have to go all the way today.
That's what made them suspicious was that, you know, one day it was in California and the same day it was in Pennsylvania. You know, so, yeah, I had my little plane, I had my invisible plane that goes with my invisible car. Huh? Yeah. Well, on Thursday, I called them and they said, we just notified. And as I was calling them, a message came through, I didn't look at it, and it was really thanks. We had some questions. So, here's the one that gets.
Oh, yeah.
When I left, but I have to go in.
Something needs to reset.
Is that who?
I've seen.
Well, I think that so, oh, and they had problems with credit cards, and now they have more cards. And, they take some of that to catch up to that one card. There we go. But this time they got it, so,
I came home.
yes. So, and then it's.
I can't say that's not bad for the
So, I'm thinking.
Anybody want to see what I'm all did? Okay, I got you. I understand. I got it.
I checked it regularly. But, you know.
We'll move
Thank you.
My goodness. There you go. Shouldn't have said anything. That's all. No, that's the.
I can put money out.
Okay, could you just, if I
I mean, I
interrupted.
can't, but that's all I can do. So,
Until you go.
until I go in tomorrow and get a whole new account and everything. So,
Oh, yeah.
Trying to keep safe, waving at everything.
Good evening. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening.
good morning.
Sleeping, how are you?
Yeah, I can send you.
Bear. I had to go on a rescue mission. Had a buddy had a Grandpa said, color was no nice.
Something last week, but that's.
We're gonna, load for 625.
Go.
We're not in the room. Cut it. Got it.
Mike, I'm in a meeting, I'll call you back.
Sure.
It was supposed to be a vacation. Now my husband's having meetings from 2 so it's nursing. But I'll have a class on.
Regular monthly meeting of the Tappahannock Town Council is called to order. First item is reading and approval of the August 9th, 2021 council meeting minutes. What are the wishes of council?
I make a motion that we accept as received.
So,
Motion's been made and second.
I'm sorry, who seconded that?
Kip,
Okay.
any comments, questions? If not, all those in favor, signify by raising the right hand. All opposed, same sign, motion's carried. I'd like to welcome our visitors with us here tonight. Unfinished business committee reports, water and sewer, council.
Public Works been busy on fixing a few water lines, filling potholes. Other than that, I think they're doing okay. Treatment plant, flow meter was replaced. And all of the tests after that came back in compliance. Sanitary department is still doing a well, good job picking up trash. That is it.
Thank you. Any comments, questions? Second, water and sewer. All right, public facilities. Councilman Walls.
Let's see, we've got some updates. Actually had a conversation with the landscape guy today for the gateway signs. We should see progress Wednesday. They're picking up materials and starting that this week. I know there'll be a gap there getting the landscape in, and then the signs, and then the soil and all of that, but that's rocking out. That should be, we'll see some groundbreaking this week. Down at the bottom, we've got, I'd like some input from council on a Christmas tree. If you're familiar with the old tree that used to be out at Wakefield, that tree needed some help, so we cut it down. And now we're looking at replacing it at Christmas time with a lit tree similar to the one at River Park now. And if you look up there on the screen, that's.
Don't see the screen, if you need to turn it.
I can see it.
That's essentially what we're looking at, but we can get into that later and review the prices and see if we wanna put a tree like that out there during Christmas time. I heard a lot of comments about it when we cut the tree down, but we needed to do something with that tree. It was getting in bad shape, so. And then, let's see, we've got some playgrounds to review next council meeting.
Next council meeting.
We're talking about something either out here behind the town office or something at Wakefield. So we wanna review that with council and talk about our ideas and see what direction we wanna go. And the last thing would be the Prince Street statue, the memorial, Civil War memorial. I literally got off the phone with the, what do you call them, conservator today and giving more information to gather a price and figure out when and what and all that stuff. So that's still moving forward and they're getting as much information to plan that. Any questions?
Thank you.
Be good.
Is there any action items with that related to Christmas trees?
The Christmas tree is the only thing, and I know it's on our agenda later on down, and I know there's some prices and things like that in there that we need to look at. I don't know if you wanna address it now, or if you wanna wait.
We can do it later.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't see it at the bottom of the agenda, my apologies.
All right, Main Street. Councilman Latney talking.
Well, Beth sent over her, extensive reports for August. And we're just gonna remind you about Third Thursdays, this Thursday, and Farmers Market that's coming up on Saturday. And we're still looking for volunteers.
And everybody's aware of it. It was in the newspaper and all about the dog grant. That was a big thing. They put in for some more grants, but I don't think we've heard anything back from it. There's a lot going on, as you all know, with Winterfest. So mark your calendars for that. I think there's a flyer out. Anita, can you help me with that? Is there a flyer out?
Yes, it's in the.
If you're into crafts, and the parade, and the ice skating, what else we got?
Bonfire
The bonfire,
and the Jingle Swing Gala.
are we sure about that? I don't know about that one, but I know about the other ones for sure. So, big things coming to Tappahannock in the wintertime on December when do we start
Starting the week of November 26th to the 29th.
Small business weekend.
Local, yeah, Shop Local is that weekend that starts it off and then every weekend until Christmas, so. Something to look forward to.
On the third Thursday, I spoke with Eric, if you know whether he spoke with Chief or not. The Chief of that, anything that your department can do with traffic control, I got a phone call before last with that. I mean, I know it's a pain, and I know that, but
Right.
with all the traffic coming off the bridge and stuff and backed up, they'll complain.
Well, VDOT approved that permit for Main Street to close, Water Lane from Queen Street. If that's where you're talking about, and down to, Duke Street. And, that's kind of a twist. I was hoping Main Street program would just close it from the light at Water Lane to Cross Street and use that section and not block Water Lane at all, but that's what the powers to be wanted to do. So vehicles are gonna have to, if they're used to taking the shortcut there at, Water Lane, they're gonna have to get off and go Cross Street over to Queen Street. And there's really not, I don't know what you could do to eliminate that little bottleneck, because people are thinking that Water Lane is clear, and they get down to Duke Street and it's shut off, they have to go up Cross Street and then go over to Queen Street to go to Richmond County. So I don't have a clue what you could do to eliminate any of that. That's not the answer you want, but I don't know what else we could do.
Well, I mean, that's the only answer you can give me. I mean, I just wanted to bring it before you because I got the calls and I just wanted to know that I was
All right,
on it, so I mean.
well, we got the folks out there, we got 2 people working on that.
Yeah.
They're there in case there is something they can do, but I don't know what else you can do when you're cutting off your main street of Water Lane.
If that's blocked off, there's nothing you can do.
No. You can revisit it if you want, but I don't know, ask me what else we can do to eliminate that.
It is what it is.
It would probably be nice if, maybe VDOT or somebody could put some signage up there, letting them know the Water Lane is closed. Up near Wright Street where a post office is, so they don't turn down there and commit themselves. Once they commit themselves, they're gonna have to find another way to Queen Street. It's a thought, I don't know.
Yeah, that's for the, what, couple hours that.
It's from, I think they close it at 4,
3.
No, we close the roads at 3.
3.
Yeah, we're closing at 3 and then I think it's 3 to 8 or 9 o'clock.
8 o'clock, 3 to 8, okay. Well, some temporary signage would be a help, you up on the corner of Wright Street, right there.
It would be,
Some kind of signage, it's 1 day a month.
yeah.
Yeah, because you're committed, it's just no problem if you go straight, take a right away, but once you're committed down in that area, you've got to work your way back out.
Right.
So,
And I think that's what you're talking about,
yeah, maybe
I mean, if nothing else, is why not close it off right there, just on 7-Eleven? And they'll see that it's closed, and won't get down there and get all congested up and all mixed up.
Oh, it is closed there.
It is,
closed there.
yes, it's closed at 7-Eleven, you can't
You
get.
can't get off Queen Street and get onto Water Lane. It's closed.
But we had the paving recently and the sign that was, near the body shop, formerly Langford's Television. Is that the local VDOT department that owns that? Does anyone know, or is that the contractor? You know, an illuminated sign,
It's the VDOT's.
yeah, you would think that VDOT, we'd hope that VDOT might help accommodate us in that sense.
Right. I'll check the bar and see what they might could do that for us.
Maybe we can contact the local representative.
I'll check with Keith
Yeah.
tomorrow. That would, if we could put it out there early enough, that would keep people from turning down, going straight through.
Yeah.
I'll see what I can do.
Thank you, Chief.
anything else, Kay? Dean?
No, just.
All right, thank you. Finance. Jenkins not with us, do you wanna make several comment on finance?
Yeah, I can make a couple comments.
Reports in council's packet.
So once again, gave you guys a kind of a PowerPoint printout of some of the highlights from the monthly report, just to try to bring the numbers to life. Received over $196,000 in meals tax and over $28,000 in lodging tax. Two important numbers we should be tracking due to the most recent rate increases. General fund expenditures, Councilman Balderson had already talked about the gateway sign, hoping that we put in by the end of the month. We've written 3 side grant checks to businesses totaling $7,700, and we have $42,000 remaining for side grants. So if y'all know business owners who are interested, please don't contact us and we'll help them out best we can. And water sewers, business as usual. One minor note, the red ambulance that y'all probably remember is being repurposed for one of the new sewer cameras that we got with grant funds for USDA has extra capacity to work a camera system like that. So repurposing what we were gonna sell is always beneficial, so. That's all I have for financial highlights. Does council have any questions?
Any questions? Finance? All right, thank you. Next item, approval of the financial report for the month of August. Motion's in order.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Any comments, questions concerning the report? All right, if not, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion's carried. All right, do you wanna, the town manager report here?
Yeah, I can, yeah, I can comment. A couple things I just wanted to point out in particular. One of them was this sewer study, that we've been working on with Rob Mangrum, our engineer. He's completed his scope of work for the study and now it's going under, very high-level environmental review. And, that's gonna be submitted to USDA beginning of next month. So that's something we've been keeping you guys updated on, working on for about 6 to 8 months now. So that'll get turned in beginning of October, and then it should take no more than a couple months for them to review and approve, and then we will receive grant funds for those services that Rob's done for us for this report. And then hopefully this will give us some findings and report for us to do a infiltration inflow project of our sewer lines and upgrade our pump stations. So that's the purpose of the report. So we're almost done with that. The other thing I want to mention too was begun updating the comprehensive plan, and we're also updating the town zoning maps, which we don't have electronic copies of right now. Last time we've had an official zoning map adopted was 1991. It's not that necessarily content, the maps can change, but bring it into year 2020, 2021. So that's very important for us as well. So, any other questions by the council? All right, thank you.
New business, tennis courts. Council should consider granting permission to Herb Osborne to resurface the tennis courts located on Virginia Street. These are the tennis courts that were acquired with the purchase of St. Margaret's property. And my understanding is they need some work. I was still looking at information.
Yes, sir. So there are 3 tennis courts. And I met with Mr. Osborne, and nothing was provided in writing. We just had a discussion about it. He sized them up. We focused on 2 of the tennis courts. There's kind of one freestanding court, that's the northernmost court. That court is in the best shape. The numbers he provided did not include that court. The other 2 courts, he estimated the cost to repair at $30,000. He further indicated that he would throw in, if you will, some labor. And his good faith estimate to repair the 2 courts was $25,000. He told me further that if we constructed these courts new, we'd be looking at $280,000 to build them new. And with winter approaching, it seems prudent with the investment on his advice to repair what we have.
So should we repair it before the building?
They're apples and oranges. I
Okay,
think that,
it's not gonna affect.
no. I think that if and when we could get on Mr. Osborne's schedule, it won't have an effect with any adjacent improvements on the property.
I've been asked by several people that do, is it pickleball? I've asked for several if the town would consider doing the striping on the courts for that.
Yes, Mr. Osborne mentioned that. He mentioned its popularity. And I don't wanna hold Mr. Osborne to that, but I distinctly remember in the conversation, his mentioning that popularity. I know nothing about resurfacing courts, but I assume that if you resurface, you're gonna subsequently paint. And it's anticipated that those lines would be a part of the project.
How are the nets?
Fair.
Do we need to make a motion for that? Is that?
Yes, I would like a motion to be made.
And I get it, he has not submitted it in writing.
Nothing in writing.
Okay.
It was a 10 to 15 minute size up.
All right, well, he'll submit, he'll be able to submit a scope of work, I'm sure.
Yeah, and in the motion, y'all could say up to $30,000.
Yes.
I move that we grant Eric Pilot the authority to negotiate with Mr. Osborne the repair of the 2 southern tennis courts at a cost not to exceed $30,000.
I'll second.
All right, motion's made, seconded, further comments or questions?
I got a question. Are we supposed to get more than one bid on this stuff when we're trying to get something done?
I would answer if I may. I think multiple bids is always a good thing. I think that Tennis Courts Inc., Mr. Osborne's company, does work extensively throughout the Commonwealth and in the Carolinas. And I certainly have no objection to someone else finding a bid if you know of someone who wants to submit a bid. I think he's obviously a local person. He did, mention that he would gratuitously have $5,000 worth of labor, and I think we'd be hard pressed, notwithstanding my ignorance on researching tennis courts. He's been in business for over 35 years. I think it's probably a sound one, but I guess in response to your question, it's never bad to have multiple bids.
Now, I know Herb, and I don't have a problem with him doing it, but I mean, I'm just, that was a question in my mind and I needed answer.
I think ideally we would have more bids. I'm just not familiar with who does this sort of work. It's pretty specialized, and then also, getting it done in a timely manner and with contractors, well, they are, a lot of times, getting on their schedule, or even, they might even say I have too much work as it is, and so, we can contact a couple of people.
No, you don't have, I mean, I have no problem with Mr. Oliver doing it, cause I mean, I know he does good work, but I was inquisitive. If you don't know, you're supposed to ask. You actually on a fool for a little while, don't ask you a fool for a long time.
All right, so we have a motion and a second, and the manager negotiate this deal, so you can look into any need to requirements, to request proposal if needed, during that, so. All right, any further discussion, comments?
Could we try to get the pickleball lines on all three? I don't know what I'm really talking about when I say this, because I never played.
They're definitely, we do pickleball in, our department, and it's definitely different lines.
The reason I say that is,
Small court, it's like a little miniature
the
court.
reason I say that is because that third court is by itself, and that, you could have somebody playing this pickleball and then still tennis in the other two. Just would consider that. I don't really know what I'm talking about with pickleball, so I'm a little lame with this.
I don't either, but I would hope you can discuss
Yeah,
it in negotiations of it, and got given him authority, some room, so that was certainly something you would bring up and work into that.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right, any other comments, discussions? All right, all those in favor, signify by raising the right hand. All opposed, same sign, motion's carried.
Mr. Gillis, are you?
Thank you.
Yay?
Huh?
How did you vote?
Yeah.
Next item, holidays. Council should consider granting the following additional 4 days off for the town staff for the fiscal year 2022. June 20th, 2022, November 8th, 2022, November 23rd, 2022, and December 23rd, 2022. That's correct, right?
Yes.
Okay. What are the wishes of council?
I'll make that motion.
That's
Any comments, questions? Glad we're doing this well ahead, conversation, debate, it's always debate. All right, no questions or comments, all those in favor, signify by raising the right hand. All opposed, same side, motion carried, thank you. Last agenda item, Christmas tree. Want to elaborate on the prices, council, I believe it's on the agenda notes, a Christmas tree, and the cost, they are expensive.
Yeah, I don't have, here we go. I don't remember what size the one is out at the River Park. Do you, Eric? Just to
I believe
give you
it's
a
16
foot.
Yes.
Just to give you all a sense of what you're really looking at. The one at the River Park is 16 feet sits. So when you crest the bridge coming into town, it's the first thing that you see coming into town on the bridge. It doesn't matter to me size-wise, but there's your prices. I know we've talked about ornaments, things like that on there. I don't know if ornaments might survive Wakefield, I don't know. So it may be just lights, but they are the LED lights, pretty durable. It breaks down, I think the one they would have now breaks down into 4 sections or 3, and is easily stored. I'd like some discussion on maybe replacing the tree that we cut down with something out there at Wakefield.
Does anyone know the life expectancy of the trees?
Is it 20 years?
Yeah.
That's what they say?
I hope so.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing that West Point has, and they've had theirs for 10 or 12 years. But I know there's information
What's the name of
on it
this
on its
company?
lifespan.
Carolina Tower Trees. Moscow,
Moscow, yeah, they're the ones that,
they good,
they do a lot of, yeah.
all over the country. The one on the park, on the river is very durable, I mean, I've looked at it very well, it's pretty well constructed, I don't know what date Joe, I should pull it up, but I'd say before Thanksgiving and right after Christmas, so it sits out basically only 2 months a year to be exposed, so it should fare pretty well, the actual tree itself, I would think.
I have my reservations with the ornaments. That's the only thing that I have my
They
reservation.
made it become collectibles.
I mean, even the lights that we put on the previous tree, they didn't fare well. But as we progressed, we went to the LEDs that had more durability and things like that, so.
And these prices are inclusive of the lights?
Yes. But no ornaments. So, if you had the ornaments.
Yeah, no star, no ornaments.
Well, maybe we can,
That's dumb.
the citizens, certainly, I think would be helpful in everyone donating a few ornaments and,
I don't think it
we
includes it,
can, we can make citizens ornaments on it as they go,
Yeah.
they come and go from year to year. So, I think,
You might have to confirm the star, Eric, but I'm pretty sure the star is included.
And you've checked other companies around? Or just,
I don't know, I don't know any others. This is the one that was presented whenever we ordered the one at
River Park. is that-
River Park. When we went to West Point and got everything, all their information based on the way theirs is presented and its size and everything, and that's the same company.
And this is who Main Street's using too for their Christmas tree.
Little bit about, I can tell you a little bit about Moscow. Moscow was designed, they're all over the country and they do everything from New York City. I mean, they do super big to super small. The ornamentation that we've had here for years since this building was built was Moscow. All the banners through town are Moscow. They do that for probably, I'm guess 75% of all municipalities in the country. They're a pretty big outfit. And I don't think they have anything but a quality product, a level. They do not make a standard, basic, cheap boat. It's all good and made, weather outside and, for that. So very reputable, been around a long time for that.
Well, who owns the tree that got cut out? I knew nothing about it.
We got the arbor guy up the county.
Yeah.
Can't remember his name right now. There was a tree growing inside of the tree that had damaged the base of the tree. So when they started looking at it, the limbs had gotten so long and drooping, never pruned, it just was in bad shape. And it over time, it was just gonna start breaking limbs off and things like that. But we looked at trying to baby it, but we just didn't recommend it.
So what's the price of a real tree out there versus this Moscow?
I don't know, that's not something that's priced.
You think you can do it?
Certainly can.
'Cause I remember when they put that tree, they got cut out, out there. It stayed there many years. It was watered and everything. Not trying to be difficult, but I remember some good things.
when you planted it, Skip, how tall was it? Or did y'all start off with a,
10 foot,
really?
looked very big.
Well, I tell you what, the other thought is, some of these drawings that we've received from the playground company, that falls right into where the tree is. And I know I'm jumping out to you a little bit further with no drawings. Based on the deed of the property at Wakefield, we can do a park playground in the triangle area. But we could put a tree in the square part, and we can take it down and put it up, or we can plant a tree.
I would call it, the tree was going to interfere with the construction of the park,
Right.
as well as
Yes.
being deficient in age, it reaches age.
We talked about grooming it to do something with it, but that was the discussion. I'm sorry, there's drawings that we'll have for everybody next meeting to look at what our options may be out there. But the idea is if we don't do something there, we could certainly plant a tree right back.
And then the disadvantage of that is it's a group living tree, it could be diseased, something wrong with it, and you plant it, you have to be very careful when you plant it, if it doesn't interfere with other activities that you plant like that. So.
Do we want to, do you wanna table this and see if we can maybe contact Historyland Nursery or something like that to see what a tree would cost?
Yeah.
It's,
Y'all wanna do that?
That sounds good. That would be the only one that I can think of right now to get a price on the tree.
All right.
So let's make an assumption that we get a price on the tree. Are we looking at planting a tree that's in the same spot, of course, for its natural life? Or do we like the idea of the possible mobility of an artificial tree? I mean, even if we were to explore planting a tree, once you plant the tree, that's where it is. It's a September meeting, we can discuss it in October, but I think that's a bridge we might want to cross tonight, is to think about it. Certainly the cost. Well, I don't know the cost of a natural tree and what type of tree it would be, depends on what type of tree it is, but it should be significantly less than an artificial tree, but then again, it's permanent, it's subject to all kinds of things. This one is taken down, this is light, you put it up. You'd have to, if you put it in another location, which would assume it's not gonna be the same location, because that interferes with the other plans
Right.
to the park, so you'd have to run power there, so you could have, I don't know what a tree costs, I can't imagine more than $1,500 for a good tree, depending on the size, and some electric, so you could have a couple $1,000 in a permanent tree that's permanent. Or then you have this amount of dollars in a tree, similar to what we have, that's consistent with what we used down on the river. So, council wishes, we can make this decision in December, if someone wants to check on that committee, folks, if someone wants to check on that and see, and we can debate it all. Up to you all.
Well, time-wise, I think we ought to pull the trigger on something, at least by the next meeting, no later than that, to even, if we decided to get this tree, or we decided to get a tree stuck in the ground.
all right. I have to admit, when I saw the prices, I had a little bit of sticker shock. And as we sat here, my friends at Wikipedia tell me that in 2010, our population was 2375. If you do the quick math, going from the least expensive to the most expensive, assuming there were a 20-year lifespan for the tree, is 20 cents per person in the town. 20 cents per person in the town to get a 16-foot tree, 33 cents per person per annum for a 20-foot tree. Just the math. If it's a 20-year tree. Seems like a better deal when you do it per person and how many cents it is, other than, what? $10,000 for a tree? $15,000 for a tree?
That's what I saw.
That's spread over 20 years, probably 20 years.
It's spread out over 23 years. I think even Mr. Rose would pay 33 cents to have a 20-foot tall tree near his house. But if we want a table, so be it.
What are the wishes of council? You want to table it? You want to make a decision? Your decision.
You think if you order the tree in October, Mr. Pilot, that it's timely? Or you don't know?
I mean, we get it in time for Christmas season?
Yes.
Couldn't tell you.
I don't wanna get it Valentine's Day. Yeah.
Then you lost it again.
All I can say is I can call and ask how long it takes to order it.
All right.
All right, will council be prepared to make a decision on a Christmas tree at the October meeting? All right, that concludes, our agenda items for this evening. I have a couple items. We have an appointment that needs to be made to the planning commission, and recommended for, approval by the circuit court. Mr. Braxton, am I right? Mr. Braxton, which is Devontae Braxton, he is a teacher. Does he teach? I can't, is he mayor? Does he teach?
He is in Richmond, Virginia now teaching.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
okay.
he was at JCIS when he
Okay,
went to,
and still resides in Tappahannock?
yes.
Okay, make sure he resides in Tappahannock. For those of you with Mr. Carey's grand, opening celebration, he did speak. That was, okay, speak with him, so, we need a motion to appoint him to
Who's
the.
that? What's the,
Vacancy,
yeah,
she wants to know who's the
is
vacancy.
it, yeah, is it the one that's, needs to be filled?
Yeah, it's one vacancy, am I correct?
Yes.
Eddie Clark,
Okay,
yes, that's right, Eddie Clark.
and what's his name?
Javante Braxton,
How do you spell it?
JABONTI.
All right, so motion's in order for recommendation to recommend him to fill.
Second.
All right, any comments, discussion? All right, all those in favor, say right, raise the right hand. All opposed, same sign, motion carried. They also want to mention, Prince Street Cafe. All right, I think you're familiar with, Maria, and there's gonna be a grand opening for that this Saturday at 11 o'clock in the morning. So encourage everyone that can attend that and show support, and
During farmer's market?
I believe, yeah, I do believe she's going to open tomorrow, I think. For business, serving breakfast, lunch, I think 8 to 3, I believe are the hours, I'm not sure. But very good to have that open back up on Prince Street.
Yep.
That just really, also have a, thank you card here, from Beth Sharp, to the council, dear town council. I just want to take a moment to thank you all for your generous contribution to our Third Thursday's Art Walk. I greatly appreciate your support of the Tappahannock Main Street for that, so thank you. And then the Tappahannock Art Gallery, has a party at the farm. It'll be Saturday, October 16th, 2021, 5:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. at Rose Hill Farm in Santa Cross. I think this is something that they've done annually.
Yeah.
Had that event that way.
And can I just say publicly, thank you to the, fire department for putting the flag up. A lot of people, it was very heartwarming and nice for them to do. I mean, people have been all on everywhere calling, have you seen the flag, have you seen the flag? So I hope everybody had an opportunity to see that on, September the 11th, when they put the
You
big
can see
flag
it,
up.
you can see it all the way from this
You
to the
could
tank.
see it, yeah.
All the way down. And I'm sorry for omission, but I did forget one thing that ties into that. Council has before them a resolution to honor those who have been affected by the terrorist attacks of September 11, 2001. So motion's in order, this is something
I'll make it move.
Second.
all right, all those in favor, signify by raising the right hand. All opposed, same sign. Thank you. That's done. All right, and I would like to mention the burial on the pump station. I guess everyone has had a chance to see that down at the river. Quite an array of wildlife on there.
It's really good.
It certainly enhanced that pump station and adds a little bit to that. So, did a wonderful job on that, and, thank you for doing that.
That's something not on the agenda, reared its head. Okay. We had previously, authorized Mr. Pilot to enter into negotiations on several parcels of land. And we are going forward in acquisition and bundling this in one note. And I've been asked by the bank, this is a little bit repetitive, it could be argued that it's unnecessary, but I'd like for Patsy to ensure that this is in our meeting tonight. And to that end, we've already, in the past months, going back to January, given Mr. Pilot the authority to enter in these contracts, all of which have been executed by buyers and sellers. It's just a matter of closing and getting this loan documentation. So to that end, my motion is to allow Eric Pilot, Town Manager, to execute any and all loan documents with Essex Bank related to the purchase of the lands known as the Gaines House, St. Margaret's Field, Chenault Estate, Chesapeake Tangier Cruises. That's my motion.
Second.
Second.
All right, motion's made and second. Any discussion or questions, clarification? I think council's fully aware of how it's proceeded along, and we're in the final throes of the process. I guess.
Should have news at the next meeting. All that's kind of bottlenecking in October.
All right, further questions? All those in favor, signify by raising your right hand. Opposed, same sign. Motion carried. Thank you. Council, have any other business to come before us? Chief?
No, sir.
All right.
Thank you.
I will mention that everyone is aware, the highway through town is probably the smoothest it's ever been. So I've noticed that speed is an issue. You can't help it. It's quiet, it's smooth, you know, I mean, people have told me, they said, I've caught myself speeding through here, and I said, yeah, I can
Should have
see
left
that.
the potholes in the road.
Yeah, a couple bumps in it. No, I'm glad they're gone, but, they did do a good job, which you should have done. That's part of their job to do that. And I know they left a little bit of a mess, but I think Mr. Pilot, the crew, I know the town did a lot to help me clean it up, and VDOT came back and cleaned up a lot of debris that was left in entrances and businesses, parking lots and things like that. So it's turned out real well. If we could get the other, performance like that on some other holes and ditches in town, we'll be in pretty good shape.
Speaking of that, there was one thing I wanted to mention. So they did get a new residency administrator who replaced Joyce. I'm not sure when the start date is. I know that they know who the person's gonna be. They're from Bristol, Virginia. At least that's where they were at last time. So they'll be up here hopefully before the start of the new year.
Okay.
Because they're,
Okay.
pretty slow.
But we look forward to meeting them and working with them
Let's
on
invite him to the Christmas party.
the many projects that we have, for that. So that's real good.
And so we take the good with the bad. The smoother roads mean more speeders.
Hi.
And I've reviewed the police report. I'd like to thank Chief Ashworth and his staff, for working hard. And so you look at the numbers speak for themselves. I've got no problem being known as a speed trap town, if that's what you wanna call it. I don't think we are, but I appreciate the numbers. I'm always asking about the stops. And it's helpful. It's dangerous when you're a pedestrian in this town a lot of times. And that presence and those tickets kind of remind people to slow down. and all those people that like to bypass the town on Water Lane. Hopefully in the coming months, maybe they'll have some speed bumps to go over, who knows?
One other thing I would like to mention, I met with the planning commission, last week, had a very good meeting with the planning commission, a lot of new members, new faces there. Good dialogue, exchange of what all roles were and how we can each help one another, there, and just look forward to moving forward with them. A lot of exciting things going on in Tappahannock, some involved directly with the planning commission, some do not. But we all need to go together and work together and be involved and support all of these wonderful things we've got going on, for that. So, thank Chairman Vaughn and Jen was there, good to see you here tonight. So, thank you for that, and, thank you for your good service. Further business, we stand adjourned, thank you.